Hello, hello. It's so good to be with you for a special edition. Today, I would like to tell you about a new book is coming out this week if you're listening in real time, and it's called Become Empowered: Echoes of Grace and Strength. Real life stories of women's transformation and triumph. And I get to be one of the authors. There are 13 authors, and one of those 13 authors is Sabine Kvenberg, and she curated all of us together in this very unique book. And the stories are really terrific. I have not read every one because I just gotten the compilation myself. And every one that I have read has stayed with me as far as being interesting and important in my learning, in that it awakened new pathways for a person to pivot in life from what life sends our way. We all have experiences dealing with things that are unimagined. And I certainly have come up against things and had to turn around that word against and come closer to the isness of what happened. And I think all of the women don't use that language, but found some way into acceptance. And then the acceptance morphed into something pretty amazing. So I encourage you to get the book if you would like to support us and an amazing nonprofit. I want to get the exact name here. It's called Foundation United, and it's dedicated to increasing the awareness and prevention of human trafficking. So we have a launch party coming up, and I'll have that information below that you can join us if you're in real time in April 2024. But the book will be available, of course, after April 24th, on April 24th, and of course, after that date. So 50% of the proceeds will go to this deserving nonprofit on launch day. And after that, 10% of all proceeds will go to them. So I'm excited about that. And I have something written that are my words about my chapter, and they're for you. So I want to read them to you. If you've ever felt marginalized or excluded by societal norms, this chapter is dedicated to you. If you didn't fit in the world due to your appearance, identity, or any other reason, these words are meant for you. Yes, the outer world can keep you from joining a club or stop you from getting a promotion. But in quantum belonging, which is the name of my chapter, which I'll give it to you exactly in a minute, I reveal how I busted the myths that kept me in the suffering of not belonging. So the exact title of my chapter is Quantum Belonging: Embracing Life Beyond Limitations. And I'm going to read you a little part, maybe a big part of my chapter, hoping that it will pique your interest. And also because you are my community, I want to give you a heads up and a head start into what hasn't even come on the market yet, this book. So many of you already know my story and Melissa's story, but in case you're new to me, the reference to Melissa is my 39-year-old daughter who passed unexpectedly in 2018. So here is a part of the chapter on quantum belonging. Melissa had not been feeling well. She'd been tired and a bit nauseous for the past few weeks. During the last weekend of her life, we were in frequent conversation because she continued to feel ill. Over the years, Melissa felt judged by doctors because of her body size. They often did not believe her if her blood sugar was high, and she said she had not added any sugar to her diet. So when Melissa's sister, Allie, suggested she get her blood sugar tested, Melissa was adamant that she not need a doctor's help. We never guessed that her situation was dire. On her last day on Earth, Melissa sent a text. Mom, I hit the lottery when I got you for a mother. Any mother would be happy to hear these words. They had special meaning for me because Melissa and I had been through a bumpy mother-daughter journey. We repeated 3+ generations of mothers judging our daughters' weight as wrong. I too lived through this painful nightmare with my mother and can testify that I felt unlovable and turned against myself when my mother judged my weight. I spent much of my life believing I needed to look better, be more, have more, be smarter. The belief I was unworthy shaped my identity and influenced Melissa's identity as well. Together and separately, Melissa and I journeyed with psychotherapists, coaches, spiritual, ancestral masters, and finally ended the nightmare. Generational cycle around mothers and weight in our family. Luckily, before her unexpected death. How could she be dead when we reached this unimaginable, sweet intimacy? A startling intervention from the beyond. In the months following Melissa's death, I was sure my life was over. The searing pain of this loss ripped through me, and life seemed painful and worthless without her. I made no attempts to soothe or dampen my agony because I thought that my blistering hurt represented my love for Melissa, and I wished to pay her that tribute. With these beliefs, it felt right to hurt and condemn life with my thoughts and feelings. I considered walking into the ocean so I could reach the horizon and Melissa. And yet, that is not what happened. Many months after Melissa passed on, I was sitting on a beach, my jumbled, hurtful thoughts racing over my aching heart, when I literally was shaken to and from the outside. It was not like feeling shaky or nervous inside. It was as if I was being forcibly shaken awake from a dream. I assure you, I was not hallucinating. The shaking seemed to last a few seconds and left me startled, but very awake. The daggers in my heart that had been with me for months suddenly were gone. I knew I was grounded in reality because I could remember that Melissa was dead, but her death had stopped hurting. I hadn't done anything to get this relief. No spiritual practices or mindset techniques. This new peace came unbidden, but the shaking woke me and became my kinesthetic wisdom teacher. I knew for the first time how to experience suffering one moment and the next second feel set free. I did wonder where the suffering had gone, but it was indeed gone. So that's all that I'm going to read to you literally from the chapter in this wonderful new book. But I want you, if you are at all touched by this and curious to find out, how do I go back to this feeling of freedom no matter what happens in the outside world? That's what I'm calling quantum belonging. When belonging is an inside job because you give it to yourself from a knowing of what and who you are, and it's not your thoughts and feelings. That's my clue. So you'll have to read the chapter if you want the rest of it. Thanks for listening to this much. I hope the papers rattling didn't disturb you, but it was the best I could do today. And I thank you again for listening and for being in this community. Bye for now.